Africa makes the semi-final always, doesn't it?
He was the first nigga.
Said man, away from the game. There's a
I'm a real hater like that.
You guys are gonna ride Messi, but like guys, the man can only do so much.
Yo, my brothers, my sisters, and my ballers. Welcome back to another match day of What's Football Without Fans with your favorite social football analyst, Tsepiso Pitsi, aka Tsebzoro. To the ballers passing by, I hope you like what you see because I surely like what I do. Make sure to join the returning bros who continue to show me gang love and appreciation by liking, commenting, as well as subscribe. Bafana is at their first World Cup in 16 years and have qualified for their first in 24 years. Tomorrow sees us facing Mexico for the first game as we did back in 2010 again. A tough group for Bafana with us the least favorites to make it out of the group. Having to face Mexico in Mexico City, followed by facing Czech Republic in Atlanta, and then back in Mexico to face South Korea. Now the opening game is always the toughest one. It's the one to kick off the tournament. The boys will be nervous. There will be expectations put on them from the South African public. But if anything, Mexico will be under more pressure and will also have their own nerves. South Africa goes into this tournament as one of the lowest ranked World Cup teams, with us being ranked 44 out of 48, if not 45. And the friendlies that we've had building up to the World Cup haven't been in our favor in terms of results. 2 games against Panama with us drawing 1, followed by a loss. A draw against Nicaragua where they just came to Orlando Stadium for a payday, followed by a draw against Jamaica behind closed doors in Mexico. Yes, Jamaica equalized in the last minute and many changes were made. Damani being hit turned inside out for Jamaica's equalizing goal. But it's highly likely we won't see him start against Mexico, even though he is a great ball-playing centre-back. And with his height, he may be helpful in a game against Czech Republic, where we expect to have the most amount of the ball that we'll have throughout the group stages. Against Mexico, a lot of defending will need to be done. And with Hugo Bros selecting 10 defenders, there is an opening for a chance of there being a back 3 being deployed. 5 centre-backs to name in Bogazi, TLB, Ocon, Makanya, Ndamane, as well as Sibisi. Opens the door for back 3, plus having a versatile player in Sibilibeli who can play as a winger or right back. It just makes sense to play him as a wing back, and then still having Sailorman Mudau, who's good physically and also attacks well with the ball. Modiba is an injury concern and may miss the first game, which is why, or potentially why, Bradley Cross has been included into the squad, who is good on the ball, but his main purpose will be there for squad rotation, as he did look nervous making his debut against Nicaragua. If Modiba is not fit, then we'll definitely call on Gabini to start at left back, with us not forgetting Matuludi, who can also be deployed at right back or as a centre back. With us expecting Morocco to have the ball with the 80,000 behind them, a lot of work off the ball is going to be done. A lot of defending, a lot of running, a lot of closing spaces and closing the inner channels for them to attack. Yes, both friendlies have seen Hugo Bros select a back 4, but he may open himself to a back 5, seeing that was used against Cameroon when we got knocked out of the AFCON. The midfield will have a heavy task on their hands. We wait to see who is selected against alongside Tebogo Mokoena, with Talenbata or Yaya Sithole being the main options, as they'll be able to impose themselves physically, even though Mexico isn't one of the most physical teams, but they are good runners and good movers of the ball. Jaden Adams could help in progressing the ball as well as being press resistant and helping us keep more possession, but you may want a sense of physicality and great athleticism, and with that selection to partner Tebogo Mokoena, you pick between Talenbata, who's had a great season for Orlando Pirates, or Yaya Sithole. I just wonder what will be the midfield partnership, because personally I'd love to see Jaden Adams play, especially against Czech Republic, where the game will be played at midday in Atlanta with the sun blazing hot. A player like that will be needed to move the ball. Having comfortable ball-playing centre-backs will be needed. Yes, TLB is the first name on the team sheet in the defensive line, and then who partners him. You know, Ocon is big and strong and tall, whilst Oletu Makanya, who is surprisingly cold, is good on the ball and has good long passing range. Now, I wonder if Makanya would have been selected if this World Cup was not in the Americas. Because with these stats at Philadelphia Union, they are totally average, if not below mediocre. But the boy does have potential and does have talent, and him being used to the conditions in which we'll be playing in could be beneficial for the team. And when selecting a back three, he is the man to be in the center, with TLB on the left and potentially Ocon being on the right. The Mexico game is where all eyes are on, and with the attacking predicament in hand. Now, it's expected for Foster to start and Apollos to be on the right, and then a decision's made as to who starts on the left as well as in the number 10 position. We all want to see the star boy flourish in Relebohile Mofokeng. Clean on the ball, tidy on the ball, has confidence, but then you cannot ignore the experience in which Themba Zwane brings. Mshishi, Shikabala as we call him, may be fortunate to be in the squad as he hasn't had that much game time across 2025 into 2026, and Tito Masongai did have a strong finish to the season for Pirates and could be a good game changer in games where you need something flamboyant, you know, a sense of creativity that may be produced by a maverick or unexpected or unorthodox, which is what Tito Masongai brings. Now, it may be said that he should be in the squad ahead of Shikabala, but it also poses the question of experience, as Shikabala was also in the Americas last year for the Club World Cup with Sundowns, and he's a tried and tested player for Bafana, but we don't know whether he'll start. You know, there's a decision to be made as to whether if Shikabala and Rele Mofokeng both start, Rele Mofokeng is most likely to be on the left wing. If it's only Relebohile Mofokeng starting at the number 10 position, then Moremi or Tapelo Maseko may start on the left. But for me, Apollo's position is definitely stamped in on the right wing. In saying that, the goalkeepers, you know, Brandon Peterson had a great season for Chiefs and actually performed well, other than just Chiefs finishing third. He was a great performer, but I guess the balance was needed in the goalkeeping positions. As we know, Ronwen Williams is our captain and will be starting. Sipo Chain has come off of 21 clean sheets for Orlando Pirates, with them having a title-winning season and winning the treble. He definitely had to be there, and it just ended up being Ricardo Costa selected over Brandon Peterson, who unfortunately was unlucky to not make the squad. But it is one to help the balance and the morale of the team in leaving him out. But with him also selected, you just have strong options, as he's great on the ball. He's great with the ball. Even though Ricardo Costa is also great with the ball, his height may be something to question, even though we don't have tall goalkeepers, but in particular Ricardo Costa's height may be the one most heavily questioned. The attacking play, how can we formulate our attacks? How can we get goals? Foster up front as our number 9 international player playing for Burnley overseas. He does not suit our football best, as I feel Ikram Reina suits the way we play best, but at the same time Ikram Reina will hold his space in the box and not come to collect and play, which isn't his duty and isn't his role and isn't his style of play. Whereas Foster can come in to drop off from the defense, get touches and move into different spaces and different channels, which Ikram Reina also offers. But if he's starving for service, he will continue to starve for service, whereas Foster may come play. Now, against a physical side like Czech Republic, Mwanasesi in Evidence Mechopa may be someone who could be deployed, you know, as a target man to collect the first balls and feed off, or have the attacking midfielders in Apollos and Mofokeng feed off of him in collecting a second ball and having us higher up the pitch with having possession of the ball to begin our attacking plays. I like the option of having 3 strikers at the tournament who offer totally different options. From the running end, we know Ikram Reyners is stronger. Against a running team like South Korea, who also play with the ball, he may be best suited to play against the South Korean defense. Czech Republic, maybe Evidence Machopa will be best suited. And then against a Mexico, you could look at Ikram Reyners, but then Foster is our tried and tested and wears jersey number 9 in being our main striker. You just go ahead with starting with him. The hopes and expectations for Bafana. How far can we go? I do feel we can exit the group stages. Will we? Is another question. And it's not to say we'll have all the answers after the first game, but there'll be a greater realization of where we are against who we play after the first game in Mexico. Getting to this tournament was a great achievement, and getting out of the group stages will be an even greater achievement. I don't feel like we should look at it as a disappointment provided that we don't make it out the group stages, and that's not me being pessimistic. I'm very optimistic, more so for the game against Czech Republic, with us having to play midday kickoff against the midfield of Souček running, Patrick Schick up top. They're not the most mobile team, and they also the ones who'll have us have most of the ball or allow us to have most of the ball, versus a Mexico who need to stamp their authority against us in being a host nation and the opening game of the tournament, as well as the South Korean side. As we know, Asians have great mobility and they also push the ball, with the Kangin Lee from midfield coming off great season at PSG, and then looking for Heung-min Son up top, as well as Hwang Lee, who plays for Wolves. Bafana can make it out the group stages. I believe we will, and I hope we do. Maybe we can even reach the last 16. Look, as much as the odds are against us, Mexico is under pressure for the first game, and if they fall for it, we should definitely take advantage of that. Somehow, someway, we need to be able to convert our chances in playing better and putting the ball in the back of the net. It's one area that we need to improve on heavily against even stronger opponents than the ones we faced during AFCON, as we were able to score 2 goals against Angola in our opening game in the group stages, followed by nothing against Egypt, 3 against Zimbabwe, and then only 1 against Cameroon with being knocked out. In our friendlies, 1 goal in Durban, 1 goal in Cape Town against Panama, no goals against Nicaragua, and then a goal against Jamaica. So it shows that we are lacking goals. It's not that we can't create chances, but we do need to find a way to break through and, have those window passes played in the channels of attack, not just from the defense. Bogazi will be a great player to progress the ball. His physicality will impose a presence on the opponents, and I feel Ocon can also benefit us in that area, as he's also great at running with him having good speed. And then our fullbacks, they just need to be on top of their game for this tournament. But my ballers, let us be happy that Bafana is at the World Cup. I hope Hugo Bros' troops do well in Mexico and go further into tournament to play in America, as we already have a group stage game there, or even take us to Canada, deeper into the knockout stages. I hope you've enjoyed this match day, my ballers. I hope you're enthusiastic and optimistic for our hopes at the World Cup. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, live long.